every magic item location in Baldur's Gate 3, Act 3. In between Acts 2 and 3, you will find yourself in the Astral Plane. Beating the leader of this forest fight will yield the boots of Uninhibited Kushigo, which are good for monks. Assuming that he made it to Act 3 alive, you will find Mattis in the lower section of Rivington. On top of everything he had before, he will now carry the Scabby Pugilist Circlet and the Corvid token, which will let you polymorph into a Dire Raven and you'll have a constant Featherfall active. You can find Ferg at the beginning of Act 3 in Rivington. Unless he decides to run off if he sees Shadowheart being a good girl, he will sell the Hellrider Longbow, the Dwarven Thrower, and Cold Snap normally. But you can pass a persuasion check in order to gain access to 3 new magic items. Being able to cast Spiritual Weapon is one of the best things about Cleric, and Sethan just gives it to any character you want. He also sells the Robe of Supreme Defenses and the Nymph Cloak. If you head to the windmill up in Rivington above the mansion, you'll find a newborn Mind Flayer. He is very easy to take out, and doing so will net you the Ring of Truthfulness. You can get multiple magic items from Akabi in the Circuits of Last Days. If you play the game that way he wants it to be played, you can get multiple minor magic items. These items include the Staff of a Mumbling Wizard, which is a staff which you can cast Firebolt or Fireball. You don't know which one's gonna come whenever you cast the spell. The Comeback Hand Axe, which would have unironically been amazing back in Act 1. You can also get the Boots of Very Fast Blinking, which gives you Misty Step at the cost of taking off your clothes, which maybe that's a win-win for you? Finally, you can get the Unlucky Thieves Gloves, which you can use to help pickpocket the gold you spent. After you figure out how to win Akabi's game, he's going to be a bit of a sore loser. You're going to be sent to a new area alone, but instead of trying to make a quick getaway, make sure to take out all of the enemies so you can properly explore the area. Up high on a ledge in a backpack, you will find the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. But you will find the real treasure right beside the portal before you leave. It is here that you will find the very best throwing weapon in this entire game. You'll be able to find Popper the Kobold in the Circus of the Last Days. On top of being part of a nearby quest, you can also trade for the Dark Displacement Gloves, which can help support any throwing builds that you have. You can find Lucretius over in the north in the Circuits of Last Days. And if you don't care about her quest, she will carry the Spellmight Gloves and the Hollow Staff. You know, I've never met anyone who says that they love clowns. Luckily, in the Circus of Last Days, the only interaction you will have with a clown will result in a complete bloodbath. After which you can get one of the more amusing items in the game, the Clown Hammer. You can find the trader in the Rivington General downstairs. This excitable Dragonborn will carry the Bone Spike Garb, the Dancing Breeze, which is low-key one of the best ways for barbarians to do massive damage to a large amount of enemies, the Stalker Gloves, the Swire's Sledboard, which gives you Force Conduit at the beginning of each turn, the Elven Chain, which can be worn by anybody, and the Ambusher. One of the very best weapons in this game is actually tied to your character's level rather than any specific location. The level you need to reach is level 10 and you're not going to hit this until Act 3. Once you do finally reach level 10, go and get one of your martial characters and take them the Withers. You're going to be taking your character and respecking them the Cleric and bringing them up to level 10. Once you have your character at level 10, you have the option to use Divine Intervention, which is only going to be able to be used once per playthrough per character. Obviously, you want to keep Shadowheart available for this ability because you want to make sure you have it on hand if things get hairy. By using Divine Intervention to arm thy servant, you are able to get the Devotee's Mace, which is the best legitimate source of radiant damage for any mace. In the northeast section of Rivington, you will find the Gur Camp. Now this group will not be hostile to the party even if you have a Astarion with you, but the leader of the camp will carry the Undead Bane. It's not a great weapon, but at this point, we're in too deep to stop without getting every single one. If you make your way to the roof of the Open Hand Temple, there you will find Gale's magic flying cat. And if you bring Gale, she will just give you the ring that she has in her possession. Rather unsurprisingly, the Ring of Blink allows you to cast Blink. It's a good name. If you head to the Open Hand Temple in Rivington, you'll find a quest to investigate a murder. Throughout this quest, you can find multiple magic items. In the back of the building, in one of the wooden chests, you'll find the Seraphatic Pugilist gloves. And if you head down into the cellar and then reach the secret area, after fighting a few enemies on their bodies, you'll find 2 key items. And if you head north to the cave, you'll find a hole which contains the Stillmaker. As you head into Baldur's Gate, you will find a steel watchman guarding the checkpoint. If you helped the Iron Hand gnomes before, they will step in to help you out now. And if you follow them down into the cave, there you will find a trader who carries the Thunderpalm Strikers, the single most broken item that I never found in my first playthrough, the Martial Exertion Gloves, which allows you to make an additional attack if you're willing to take some extra damage. They'll also carry the Nimble Finger Gloves and items that are specifically supposed to be used on the Steel Watchman. To the northeast side of Rivington, you'll find the Zhentarim are clashing with the Stone Lord's men. Luckily, you don't need to actually side with either one of them, because the leader of the Stone Lord's men will carry the Corpsegrinder, and the leader of the Zhentarim group will carry the Gleamdance Dagger. If you make your way up to the top floor of the Sharas's Caress, there you will find Kithrak Voss along with Raphael. After your conversation with Raphael, you can head down to the main lobby of the Sharas's Caress, and there you will find Kithrak Voss once again. You used to be able to actually trade for his main weapon here, but apparently this doesn't work in this situation anymore. But either way, if you hate Lae'zel's questline, you can kill him and get Voss's Silver Sword, and if you don't already have it, the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. Just keep in mind that Lae'zel will hate your guts for this action, no matter what your relationship is with her before this. If you head to the very northernmost section of Rivington before you get to Baldur's Gate, you'll find multiple traders there. The only trader to carry magic items is the one that also helps out the Harpers. He will carry the Blightbringer, which is a racist weapon that specifically targets gnomes and dwarves. Like, why is that a thing? The Harmonic Dueler, which can give you bard-like abilities. The Horns of the Berserker is almost good enough that it makes me want to take off the Cap of Curing. No, it's too cool, it stays on. He'll also carry the Guard of the Land and Sky, which is good on monks. The Gauntlets of the War Master is good on fighters, but it's not the best armor for fighters, so I don't know if you'll actually use this. But you will probably use the Cloak of Displacement, which gives enemies disadvantage on attacking you. And he'll carry the Snow-Dusted Monastery Gloves. You'll find Worm's Rock Fortress in between Rivington and the main area of Act 3. On the ground floor, being guarded by the Flaming Fisk, you will find a heavy chest which contains the Flame Enamelled armor. I actually recommend stealing this piece of armor before your meeting with Gortash, because you can make the Flaming Fisk very angry at you and get caught, and that can in turn ruin your deal with Gortash. So if you're sad because you can no longer get the Infernal Robe without killing Karlach, go here and get the next best thing. That's every magic item that you can find at the beginning of Act 3, but stay tuned and like and subscribe so you can see the rest.